You are now listening to the #MBDA Conversations podcast. In this podcast, you will be informed and empowered about MBDA's social, spatial, and economic transformation programs in Nelson Mandela Bay. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to MBDA Conversations podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your season's host, Olwam Mwazi. Joining us today in studio is MBDA's longest-serving staff member, Pam Fraser. Pam, it's been 18 years. Welcome.
Thank you, Olwam. Thank you for having me.
Tell us, is it 18 or 17 years? I think it's 17 years.
17 years.
17. How has it been?
A long, short road. Yes, it has been since 2004, where I've been appointed into this position as the executive assistant to the CEO.
Do you remember when you started, how you came to work for MBDA? Do you want to take us through that journey?
Oh, yes, indeed. It's one of those moments that you can't easily forget. And I came about this job quite by chance. My previous job, I've been employed in for 10 years. I became bored of the environment. I left the organization and then thought I can spend some time and money at home. But then after 2 months, I realized, no, it's becoming a boring situation. So I let myself out there in the recruitment. I went to a recruitment agency, actually, handed in my CV. 2 weeks later, I got a call from the manager asking me, don't I want to help out in a particular job? And I said, yes, bring on. It's a challenge, but I'll take it on. And this is where I'm at currently.
Thank you very much. Okay, we are talking about the people of MBDA today, and I want to ask, how does your day look like? Take me through your week. Take me through, Pam that is not in the office. What do you do?
Let me start up with Pam being in the office. I'm there and I'm not there. Time flies because obviously in a position like mine, there's multitasking, there's multi-skilling. So the volumes of work that comes through my office, actually it's a blessing because you don't see the time pass. You walk in the mornings and then suddenly you realize it's time to go back home. So it is a stressful environment, but also an exciting one.
Yes, and do you want to talk to us about the work around the work, outside the work?
Is that my personal?
I'm interested in you as a person, and also we're trying to find out who works for MBDA.
Pam is a mother of 3 girls. So yes, I have to balance being a parent, being a mother, raising 3 girls, and also the responsibility that comes with being in the position as executive assistant at the MBDA. So yes, my daughters are 27, 25, and 20. The last born, she turned 20 last month. So yes, that is the interesting part on the personal front. Balancing it is quite well because the MBDA is quite family orientated. So there's a nice balance between family and work. So I'm doing quite well, I would believe, on that front.
I'm going to ask you a little bit later about the work part, but I also want to find out that you've seen people coming in and going. We always read about MBDA from the outside. I want you to take us through what are maybe the most memorable moments that we might not know about.
The most memorable would always be, us being part of a program or a project from start to inception. And I'm fortunate to be in a position, since the CEO is the accounting officer, that I'm exposed to everything. So most interesting would be, this building is one of them. The tramways building. If previously called the old ice rink. If you look at the pictures of a dilapidated building,
Yes.
and how the MBDA staff came together and transformed the building into what it currently is and making it our offices, that is a proud moment, because, when you go out there and there's one question I tend to steer clear from when I'm out amongst people, when they ask you, where do you work? I'm never keen to answer that question, because as soon as they hear at the Mandela Bay Development Agency, then, it's exciting, to them it's very exciting. Other exciting moments are, uplifting areas out there, especially in the township areas where people are not as fortunate as in the western or southern parts of Nelson Mandela Bay. So designing and building a park, for example, those are to others, those are minor, but to me, working for the organization and see the upliftment, seeing the changes, and then reading about it, other people reading about it, and we part of it. So those are moments, and there's many, many more that I can mention.
You are listening to #MBDA Conversations. Be part of the conversation by sending your voice notes to our WhatsApp line 072 423 0271.
Any of the people that has walked in that you are proud to see, maybe looking outside, that this is what now they do, this is what they've grown to do, but that they've developed from inside MBDA?
Yes, there are. There's been staff that that joined us, and then that has left the organization, but they still connected to us. There's one colleague in particular that's immigrated. She's in Australia, but she is still still connected to the MBDA. They follow the MBDA. There's other staff too that's left, but especially on social media, when we post something about the MBDA or a project, that they'll always pop up with a comment, and it's like those memories.
It's family, isn't it?
Yes.
Because once you talk about family, you talk about people that you'll forever be attached to, and life is just like 8 years, and those people become your life basically.
That's so true.
Yes. And now tell us more about the work that you do. I know you've said briefly in the intro, but I want us to really hear a bit more of the work that you do.
Yes, as previously mentioned, I'm the executive assistant to the CEO. Obviously, I'm responsible for the upkeep of his office, but not only him, he has an executive team that I indirectly also manage, even though they would have their administrators doing that job, but I would indirectly manage his executive team as well. So parts and functions of my role is, to micromanage the CEO, to manage his life, both within the organization and parts outside, the organization. So that is, and to keep the CEO in line also. It's not much effort, but that is a very important function. That you ensure that you safeguard the CEO, that you safeguard the organization, and I'm the first point of call with any individual, externally and internally walking in. I'm that first point of call that they have to go through Pam before they get to the CEO.
Yes. And you probably also feel the heat when the CEO feels the heat.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Any examples, any stories you want to tell us about that you can talk about, of course?
Indeed. My CEO always has a tendency, when it comes to the serious matter, that he will always remind me, Pam, it's my job to stress. And it's my job to find solutions to solve these problems. Don't stress. So I leave the serious bits with him. There are many. The one that I can mention is being that go-between the CEO and the stakeholders or the external people or the staff. I'm always trapped. I find myself in the firing line because if there's any issues coming up, it goes through Pam and Pam gets trapped. Managing it, I just have to find ways and means to overcome it because life carries on. And to get through the day, at the end of the day, I have to ensure that I find a way
to get through it.
Yeah.
Okay, before we take some voice notes, I just wanted to find out if there's stress at the office, how do you distress outside? How do you get it off your system and still have fun? And still be, a present mother to the girls?
Yes, I have to ensure that when I walk through my door that they don't read of the day's happenings on my face, my facial expressions, but I am quite active. I partake in various extramural activities. That's a nice way and form to de-stress. And then I also enjoy a glass of wine at times.
We're going to talk about wine. My favorite, I'm not going to advertise any. Do you have any particular wine that you like? But even if you don't say the name.
Let's just say red wine.
Right? Red wine. Okay, no, thank you very much. As normal right now, we'll be listening to your voice notes. And you can ask questions to Pam using the WhatsApp line.
17 years is a long time. I want to know what have been your main challenges at the MBDA.
I've touched a bit on that before, being always being in the firing line. And it's, when the stakeholders or external people wish to speak to the CEO, they have to go through Pam. And in order for the CEO to be alert or at times I have to be firm. And even with the staff internally, it's not a matter of I want to see the CEO, I have to see him now. Doesn't matter the purpose of the request for the meeting, for example. So I have to balance those things, and sometimes I become like the evil one. So I have to adopt an attitude and not, deviate from that attitude. I have to see it through. I have to play it through. So getting out of it is just unfortunate. I have to remain firm and I have to stick to my point. And then at the end of the day, I'm happy to say that I don't make many enemies through that attitude, that they just get to understand the reason why I have to do it and why I'm there.
There are boundaries.
Yes, indeed.
Boundaries and family, how do you solve that conflict? Because other family members won't understand boundaries.
In my case, it's not a problem, really. I'm a single mother of 3 girls. And my daughters know when I'm not at home, I'm at my other home, which is the MBDA. So sometimes my daughters will tend to call an Uber and then they find themselves at the office, or they will bring me a meal. If we're working late, if there's markets at the MBDA, they love to come and visit and then buy food, and then we'll have supper together and then off they go. So balancing work and family, luckily there's an equal balance between that.
Be part of the conversation. For more information, visit www.mbda.co.za.
There has been major changes and improvements since you walked in 17 years ago. And I know one of them is this building, the Tramways building. It's an exceptional story to be able to tell, even in the communities where we come from, talk about now that we can host events here, we can do so many things. But MBDA has a lot of these milestones. Other than this one, the move, what is the other biggest improvement?
There's one that's very close to my heart. The MBDA started out as a urban renewal. We focused our attention on urban renewal and urban development. And then later on, we added the psychosocial component, which is, focusing on youth development. And that is a part that, it brought on changes that the youth prior to that went unnoticed. There's so much talent out in the townships, for example. So when we introduced that component, we have the manager and team appointed to that position, they received a budget and they had to go and source and develop those youth. So that is one of the, the greatest achievements that the MBDA also, puts us out there, developing the youth, getting them to rise from the ashes, so to say, and, making a name for themselves. So, that is another very...
and it's a big one because of the nature of the city that we are in and the country, by the way, that as much as we can develop, infrastructure, the real issue is at the human level.
Yes, it's human, yeah. We focus our attention on, and the youth is the future. So we have that human component that we, very proud of. That, in my view, is a very proud initiative.
One more story. I'm tempted because if I'm sitting with Pam Fraser, I know that I'm basically having a conversation with employee number 2 all the way through the current or the latest employee. So I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to the whole of the people of Mandela Bay Development Agent. So there are some stories that involve other people that you probably want to tell, community members or your granddaughters or anything. What are the stories? I want the people story at MBDA.
I'm not allowed to share the people stories. Can I plead the fifth on that?
Yes.
No. The nice part of this job is, yes, it's the people. It's the people that I work with. We work extremely hard, but in order to get through a day, we must have our light moments. And I laugh a lot. And the staff bring the laughter to me. I'm stuck in an office. I don't move around much other than doing what's required. But the staff will come to me and we'll have that down moment where we'll joke and we'll laugh and there's nothing stopping us. And we'll go back, and that is a refresher for me to just, carry on. Being together, working hard together, throwing our toys out of the cart together, going at each other, but, at the end of the day, having fun.
And I want to ask again about the 17 years. What has kept you so long with MBDA? What is it about Mandela Bay Development Agency that has kept you this far?
17 years, like I said earlier, it's long, yes, in terms of years, but it doesn't appear that long. It went by so fast, and I think it is because of the caliber of people that I work with. It was not my intention to stick around for so long, but the fact that every single individual, and myself included, we are made to be part of whatever, is placed on the table. Each staff member has an involvement. It's not because you're a general administrator or assistant that that type of work is not meant for you. Every single staff member plays an intricate role in the development of the agency. And, if I had to be unhappy, I would have been long gone. But my involvement is important, is critical. And for that reason, 17 years became like 17 days.
That's great. Now, before this interview comes to an end, I just want to find out what probably is on your plate until the end of this year. We're not going to talk about next year. Do you have anything that you can share? Or is it too confidential to be able to share?
There's that we can't plan because of the pandemic. So yes. I'm just looking forward to a break. I'm looking forward to, I have not yet applied for leave, but I'm going to apply for leave and I'm just going to, go slow. No pressure on me, and then come back in January and life carries on.
And enjoy the water of life.
Indeed.
Thank you, Pam, for joining us today. We appreciate it. We see the face of Mandela Bay Development Agents on you. We see the people they love. I can even feel, the office space when I'm actually talking to you. I don't have to talk to anyone. Otherwise, you've dealt with all the questions that I wanted to find out, especially about the people element. Anything else that you'd like to say that you know that we do not know about Mandela Bay Development Agency? Your perspective is very much important to me.
All I can say is this is the happy place, and I think there's people that's quite envious of the staff that's employed by the MBDA. So it's when people walk in and the difference that we make, and when they walk out, or at the end of the day when we sign off on that final piece of document on a project that that was allocated to a group of people. So it's basically just it's work well done.
Thank you very much, Pam. Thank you very much.
For more intriguing MBDA conversations, follow the MBDA on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please subscribe and share this podcast. Also visit the MBDA website and send us your questions or views via the MBDA WhatsApp line on 072 423 0271. Thank you for joining us. Till next time.